Never a quiet place in this whole country to do an interview.
I think we should just start.
One of the questions I'm always asked is, how do you make money in Asia? This is going to be the first of a series on talking to actual people that have made money and are successful in Asia. So this is Dan Andrews. Dan, tell us, first of all, how long have you been in Asia?
Okay, so basically since late 2008, I moved to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then in late 2009, I moved here to the Philippines. And since that time, I've probably been here about 50 to 60% of the time in this country.
Yeah. Now, do you consider yourself, at this point in time, successful?
Absolutely. I mean, in part because I get to spend my time the way I want to. You know, hanging out with the people I want to, going to the places I want to, and doing the kinds of work that interests me. So for sure.
Yeah. And how'd you do it?
The internet. Okay, that's a complex question, but I think there's two elements that are important when we talk about the Philippines. Number one is, first off, my businesses aren't based in the Philippines. They're based in California and Hong Kong. And I think, in part, there's a technology revolution that's happening. In particular, you look at technologies like Skype. Like, basically free worldwide
communications.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the big thing. And then the second thing is, here in the Philippines in particular, there's a huge opportunity to hire Filipinos for software development, design.
Outsourcing.
Outsourcing.
Yeah, that was your first business, yeah?
Yeah, and that's why a lot of the people, internet entrepreneurs, people in my crowd, they move here because there's the promise of well-educated Filipinos that speak great English for $500 a month. And these people are rock stars. They legitimately can compare with Western employees.
Yeah. And, of course, the other question people always ask is, how much money did you start with? I mean, it's easy. The biggest joke always in the Philippines is, if you want to make a big fortune in the Philippines, or a small fortune in the Philippines, start with a big one. Yeah. You know, it's always the joke. So people think if you come here and you throw money at something, you're going to be successful. But many times the converse is true, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. The people that come with the big money have a tendency not to pay enough attention to it.
Sure.
It's tough to make money in Asia, in any place. How much did you start with?
Zero. Well, and that's the beauty of the internet, is that, and I have a rule too, I don't do local business. And I'm not quite prepared. I don't have the skill set like you to take that on. It's too big of a challenge, and there's, frankly, the opportunity isn't there. When you look at the internet, it's wide open. And the cool thing about starting an internet business is that you don't need money. All you need is effort, time. And those are two things that I had, and I really wanted to make it happen. I remember when I first came to Asia, and I lived here, and I was like, I just never want to go home.
Yeah, I remember us both saying that. We'll do anything, just don't make us leave.
Yeah, I mean, the lifestyle is so much fun, and so when you asked me if I felt successful, I mean, everybody's got to have their own judge, but for me, my bar of success is so low. Because it was just, I always said, hey, as long as I'm making $1,000 and I got my backpack and I can go wherever I want.
Right, rice and fish heads, and I'll sleep on the beach.
That's exactly right.
So basically for you, Asia is your platform. It's your base. Yeah.
Oh, I think Southeast Asia in particular, I look at Southeast Asia as my base, and I look at it as my home. And, you know, back home, you know, if you wanted to take a visit from San Diego to Tucson, you're talking about a $500 weekend. Well, imagine what you could do for $500 here in Southeast Asia. Go to Singapore for a couple days and then pop over to Malaysia and then back to the Philippines. I mean, it's just fantastic what you can do. And the opportunities are here. It's happening. The growth rate, the employees, the passion, the peer group. What we're seeing here is that you're going to have cooler friends and a better peer group by living here in Southeast Asia than you ever would have back home.
Yeah. And speaking with one of the guys that works with us here at BADLADZ, one of the things he discovered, because here in Asia it's so cheap to get help, that your time is much freer.
Yeah.
You've got all day long to get stuff done, because you can have people that cook and clean for you and absolutely wait on you hand and foot.
Absolutely.
And time is the most important thing.
Especially for internet entrepreneurs. Like what we're doing is you need as much time as possible. And it's just cool. It's a great lifestyle to have zero lifestyle overhead. In Bali, my rent is $500 a month. I live in a beautiful villa by the beach, and I don't do anything. I never cook, I never clean. I focus on my business 100% of the time, or things that I enjoy, like hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, so a great place for people that are lazy and want to get rich.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.